Hi everyone, so I am talking about this foundation from Rituel de Fille, and it is the 3 drops serum potion whatever. I got samples of 2 colors, the 100 and 105. I have 105 on today. It says, what does it say? Very small sticker. Very fair shade for neutral to olive undertones, which I would say is pretty much where I'm at. I have like a cool yellow, pale yellow undertone. Honestly, the best way to see it sometimes is wearing something that is too light, and then my neck will all of a sudden be like, ooh, I've got a yellow neck. All right, so before I talk too much, let's just take a look at the swatches of the 2 colors that I bought compared to some other stuff in my collection. So I did the 100 shade twice. So this is the Rituel de Fille and 100 and 105. And just so you can see them side by side, to me the depth looks similar. It's just this one's a little more pink than what I generally ever buy or wear because I have very different undertones. So to compare to some more yellow stuff that works better, that are good color matches for me. So this is 105. This is the NARS Soft Matte in Siberia. Siberia is a good color for me. It's a little bit on the dark side, but totally workable. Same with, this is my favorite formula probably, the Lancome Tidal Ultra in 95W, which when I looked on Sephora, it didn't seem like they sell that color anymore on there. I sure hope they still make it. I know they keep changing that formula. Like, they have reformulated that formula so many times. This is the, for something a little bit lighter but still more of the yellow undertone, is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting in CN 0.5. Again, another color that may be difficult to find places because the really pale shades are just harder to get. And some countries don't carry them at all, etc. For something, so this is again that shade 100 of the Rituel de Fille. And for something, a couple things that are pale and less yellow, this one still is a bit more yellow than that 100 shade, but again, I don't have a lot of kind of more pink undertone stuff. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear and 0N1 Alabaster, which on me sometimes looks fine, other times it looks too pale. It seems, I have no idea what that's all about. And for something that is not less yellow, not quite pink, but more of like just like a really neutral undertone, is the Dior Skin, what's that called? Skin Glow. Dior Forever Skin Glow. There we go. And this is in shade 00. So you can see where these are kind of setting down and oxidizing more. They never really look that stark. I think it's just accentuated by the fact that my arm skin is not so nicely prepped and moisturized and primed and sunscreened and all that as I would my face. So that's why I think that they set down a little bit more, obviously. But there are some comparison shades for you. I am not trying to cover my freckles. I use light to medium coverage generally. I'm 43, almost 44 years old. And the issues I have with foundation in general is settling into my pores. I do have some lines where things can start creasing and picking up on dry flakes. That is a perpetual problem of mine. I do use Differin for keeping my acne contained, which it does a great job of that. But especially like in the winter when I am outside, you know, like walking to get my kids from the bus and it's windy and whatever, it is hard to keep my face from getting flakes. And I did exfoliate before I put on the foundation on today. I tried to get all of those surface flakes off. I put on like a light moisturizer, then I put on the SPF I've been using lately, which is the Jack Black. I think they only have one SPF. It's like SPF 20 moisturizer. It is not the most moisturizing thing. But knowing that this foundation is kind of like oil-based-ish, I was not wanting to use a more silicone-based SPF like the Unseen Supergoop SPF, which I also like a lot. And I don't really have a moisturizing SPF that I like well enough that works well with makeup. So this one is a little bit on the drier side, but I did try to combat that by, exfoliating and putting a moisturizer on underneath. That said, when I put this on today, first time I tried it, it definitely does show where I have some dryness and flakiness on my skin. I will show you the zoomed in view. So this side, I think, if it will focus on it, you can see how it kind of grabbed onto some dryness over there. Around my nose. Which, I mean, if your skin's flaking, there's only so much you can do. Dryness here. This style is just not great for my skin. As soon as I swatched it on my hand, I knew that this was going to be a foundation that most likely was not going to agree with my face that great. Generally, things that have that kind of like dry feeling to them, where they don't feel wet, and sometimes that's an oil or sometimes it's just like very silicone-y base. Those two things tend to find every little itty bitty bit of dryness that's on my face and highlight it. Those are also the kinds that tend to settle into my pores. I just followed the instructions on the website. I did apply it with my fingers, as you see, and it was okay. All things being equal, with this style of foundation generally not working that great for me, it worked okay. I did try spreading it. Spreading it is where things are going to settle into my pores, like slide off the rest of my face and just sit in my pores. Which is why I like damp sponges so much, because they're just like pressing in. And it's much less likely to settle in my pores if I'm pressing it in. Not always. Some foundations still find a way to do it. But applying with fingers is always sketchy, unless I just pat it in, which is the most time-consuming way of putting on a foundation in my experience. Brushes pretty much never work for me, so I wouldn't even, I would think that this type of foundation plus a brush would be like worst case scenario for settling into pores and catching all those little dry bits. Color range for pale skin seems to be pretty good. I am not trying to match my neck, but I am trying to get kind of in the ballpark of my neck. If I do try to like straight up match my neck, it can look very stark. So I'm going for something that's close to my neck, but maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit more yellow. This, I think, is kind of right on the edge of not quite enough yellow. It seems to be okay. I would say it's okay. It's not something where I feel like, ooh, this looks like a real, like you can see how sickly yellow my neck is looking. I don't think this is like that, so I think this is fine. In the swatches on the website, it made 100 look quite a bit lighter than 105. I think they look about the same, just with different undertones. So I know there are people that are paler than me, so I don't know if 100 would work for them. It does not seem to oxidize or change color at all. I had swatches on my hand for good 15, 20 plus minutes, and it did not change color at all. Talking too much. So I think that's about it. If I have any sort of like noteworthy observations about wearing it all day, I will definitely put it like in the video or in the description or in a comment or something. Right now, my question is going to be how it is going to wear for the rest of the day, whether or not it's going to move around, because I touch my face. I got my face on my kids. I'm lying down because I have zero energy ever. Yeah, I'm very curious about that aspect, and like the creasing. I did put it under my eyes, and it was, even after I set it with the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder Pressed, which is my like, if I want to get the best performance out of foundation, that is the one I go to. It was creasing after I set it. So I, tapped out those creases again, and we'll see if they like continue to pop up, and the same like around my mouth. I've got like one line up here on my forehead that sometimes is more likely to crease. Right now, everything looks good. I don't see any creasing, so that's kind of a good sign. If it has stayed crease-free, at least to this point, it's not going to be one that's like constantly bunching up, Some foundations definitely do that. So far, it seems like a nice formula. It says it has no fragrance, but when you go look at the ingredients, there is some sort of rosemary extract, whatever. It says that it doesn't have any essential oils. Well, it does have something from rosemary. To me, I put it on my face and I'm like, focaccia, that's what I smell. I do have a very strong sense of smell, so I am going to pick up on any of those scents. It does not seem to linger, but it is, to me, where it says no essential oils, no fragrance added, and that if you smell anything, it's just going to be like the light scent of the oils. I'm calling BS on that, because you have something that has rosemary. Like, you're using something from rosemary, which has a very strong scent. And that's what I'm smelling. I'm not smelling the oils. I know what oils smell like. There is also like an SPF that I tried because of Shelly. Did I mention that I bought these samples because of Shelly? Shelly, Geek Out of Water, also does, over 40 makeup, lots and lots and lots and lots of foundation reviews. Like if you are looking for foundation reviews for skin that is not 20 years old. She has got a bajillion. And so I saw it on Instagram, a little clip from her review of this foundation, and that is why I tried it. And the other thing that sold me on it was that you could buy the samples. $15 for 3 samples, did have to pay for shipping. But considering the massive amount of foundations that I have, because I have also done not nearly as many, but quite a number of foundation reviews, I always appreciate it when I can just buy a sample, even though I am paying a bit much. In theory, you're supposed to get I think they said 8 full faces per sample. So 24 faces of full faces of foundation out of it. I am really trying to be selective about makeup purchases, because I just have not been wearing makeup nearly as much as I used to. Used to wear it every single day. Used to make videos like every week. After 10 plus years, apparently my interests have changed. So yeah. Anyway, thank you, Shelly, for putting that on Instagram. My throat hurts because I've been rambling too much. So let me know if you have any questions, if you have tried it out, if you tried anything else from the brand. I'm familiar with the brand name, but I had not tried anything from them before. I had seen them, and that was about it. I had to look up how to pronounce it, and it wasn't terribly helpful, their little pronunciation. So hopefully I got it somewhere right. And yeah, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you when I see you.